Hey you guys, this is Minish Cap 1. So I get a lot of comments from people asking, hey Minish, I noticed that you start your game off with a level 1 proxy and you like to avoid levels 1 through 3, especially versus hard matchups. What do you do when your level 1 proxy gets denied and you have to try and fast push in a lane, or if your level 1 proxy gets denied and you can't fast push in a lane because your jungler wants a gank, well, what do? I'm playing versus a really hard matchup and I don't know how to survive this lane. Well, in this game, I'm not going to show the whole game. I'm just going to show the first 11 minutes or so, which shows the early laning phase and how you can make plays in a situation like this and outplay your opponent. The matchup is Jace, so this is pretty much as bad as it ever gets for Singed without you just dying straight up in your lane 1v1. What you're going to see here is right there. They denied my level 1 proxy. And I have to recall early on, so that means I'm not going to be able to fast push even if I wanted to. So I have to recall early on. Level 1 proxy gets denied, and I'm versus probably one of Singe's hardest matchups, which is Jace. And so what I ended up doing is right here I decide that hey, maybe I should go and fast push the lane, but my jungler Lee Sin, he decides that he wants to start at the top red, our red. So obviously my only choice is to leash for him, otherwise it's going to fuck up his pathing. Usually I don't like to leash for junglers who like to fast push, but in this situation, my level 1 proxy gets denied, I have to recall early, and I have to leash for my jungler versus a really hard lane for Singed. And normally like this is like a really bad thing for Singed, but as a rule generally, it is better to leash for your jungler because your jungler will come back and help you in the end if he's a good jungler, which you're going to see in this game. So what you want to do at level 1 right here, after you leash for your jungler, is just walk the lane, and you don't want to push, because you don't want to push it like this right now, because the only way that pushing at level 1 is advantageous to you is if you fast push it as soon as the creep wave leaves the tower. But since it hasn't left the tower at this point, it's met in the middle of the lane because I had to leash for my jungler. What I have to do is just get the CS that I can and just walk back into the bush back here, just deny him all the damage that you can. What you have to realize is that every time Jace auto attacks you, his creeps are going to keep focusing your creeps, but your creeps are going to focus him. That means that the wave is going to get pushed towards you because your creeps aren't fighting his creeps, they're fighting him, which means that your creeps are taking damage for free and they're going to die faster. Like what you're seeing right here is he's slowly pushing towards me, and I'm just staying in the bush. I want to just poke out and get CS like whenever I can without taking damage. If you notice, I haven't actually used a single potion charge yet, which is really good. Especially for a really just nightmarish lane like this. So here he jumps onto me, I use my Curse of Colossus and fling him back, just trying to avoid however much damage I can. Last hitting under tower, whenever they're already pre-chunked like that, the minions are pre-chunked like that, is really hard. Right here, what I'm doing is I'm making sure that the ranged minions don't enter the tower range, because I want to try and freeze outside of my tower. Yeah, obviously, it probably doesn't need to be said, but you're gonna miss CS right there. Whenever I see the Nidalee Spear hit me, the first thing I do is start pinging help for Lee Sin. Lee Sin knows exactly what to do. He plays this extremely correctly. He starts running it right towards him because as soon as I start getting harassed by Nidalee and I ping for help, he's coming already. So they try and dive me. They miss a few. They miss the Jace Q, and then they tower dive for some reason. Lee Sin counter ganks. He flashes on Nidalee, gets the kill on her right there. Yeah, so she dies. Then I go back up to farm, and he chases down Jace and kills him. So basically, what ended up happening there was the leash ended up being pretty okay for me, because my jungler knew that, well, Jace is slow pushing into me, and what the enemy jungler wants to do when the top laner is slow pushing is they want to go and dive that top laner. So as soon as I see the spear, I start pinging for help, and Lee Sin comes up to help me and counter ganks, which ends up working out very heavily in our favor. Now, what ends up happening here is actually really bad. For whatever reason, like I'm completely okay with this freezing on me because my plan was to just teleport back into the lane and pushing in, but Lee Sin, for whatever reason, tries to fight Jace, doesn't flash away or anything like that, and gets killed by Jace. So now Jace, in what should have been a pretty much one lane for me, I should have just won the lane off of their stupid tower dive. He ends up getting a comeback kill. He gets like 2 full waves of CS that are pushing into his tower, and he gets a blue buff. So this is pretty much, again, we're put in a really bad position. and we're gonna see exactly how to get out of that bad position. So what I do here is this little Krug. This is something really important. This little Krug is really easy to kill just for a free 30 gold. You just do exactly what I'm doing, kite it with poison autos, and as soon as that one dies, your poison pretty much instantly kills the other two, so you just get free 30 gold. You can do that pretty much every time it's up. Once you have Corrupting Potion and triple Dark Seals, you can actually take the entire camp. But with just refill, it's usually not worth the sustain loss to take the entire camp. But it's a lot easier when you have the full Corrupting Potion, because you have 3 charges as opposed to 2, and you get your mana back. So here I'm just doing what I did before, letting him slow push into me. Pretty much no big deal. I thought that I might be able to fling him there, but his gate makes him move too quickly, and at this point, because my poison has already touched the creep wave, I have to pretty much push it in, because if I don't fast push this now, then it's gonna freeze outside of his tower, and that's a really bad position for Singe to be in, is when the wave is frozen outside of his tower. Pretty much just standard play right now, just sitting back and letting him push the wave a little bit while I just catch what I can with the poison. Right here, I know that I'm in range to be killed, so I back off and start channeling my recall. And what you're going to see him do here is he's going to freeze these minions outside of his tower, which is going to force me to use my teleport. But it's mostly okay because I know his teleport's down, my bot lane's going even or ahead. So right there, I have to teleport onto the wave because he's trying to freeze it. I just start pushing it again. Mid lane's winning, bot lane's going even, so this is about as good as a shitty situation we'll get for Singed if it's like really bad. Right there he tries to trade with me. I have triple Dark Seals and Corrupting Potion, so I know that I can fight him. He gets chunked really low. I go for the tower dive here, get a lot of damage on him, but unfortunately he cancels my last auto attack right there with his E, so I couldn't get the last auto and kill him. So he gets out on like a really low, stupidly low amount of HP. But it ends up being okay because his teleport is down, and we're going to get to push this entire wave and make him lose CS. Which is really, really good because usually in range matchups they get ahead of you in CS because a lot of the time your jungler won't help you. You have to make sure that your jungler knows that you're going to need help when you get pushed around like this. Make sure you ping for assistance. Like, don't be a dick about it, obviously, but let them know, because like the goal is to win, and if your jungler wants to win and if you want to win, you have to just admit that you need help sometimes versus lanes like this. It ended up working out really well this game, but not all games are going to be this bad, because like this early lane is about as bad as it gets without you dying solo. If you die solo, it gets worse, obviously, but as far as like natural circumstances go, this is as bad as it gets, because you know, once again, we were denied level 1 proxy, we couldn't fast push the first wave, and the lane matchup is a hard counter, so yeah, pretty bad. My item choices here is I want to go Tabby, and the reason I want to go Tabby is because I have scaling MR blues and armor reds, so that means that I don't really need the Merc Treads MR because I have MR from runes, and the reason I don't want Merc Treads for the tenacity is because they don't have that much hard CC. They're only really like decent hard CC is Orianna on the other team, and all of her CC is just like a slow, really. The knockback from her ult actually does not get reduced by tenacity, so it's not worth taking the Merc Treads versus just her. So I decided to go for scaling blues instead. And then Tabby is just really, really good versus Jace in general because you get the armor to reduce his autos and everything. Right there, I got a decent fling on him. You can fling lock Jace's E, and if you're within a certain range, no matter what, you will be able to fling him out of his E. But you have to time it just correctly whenever you're in his range. So right there, he backs off the tower because he knows that I could dive him. So what I do is I go looking for him. He's gonna try and recall in that bush, which I predicted, and yeah, he gets out of the bush. And then I just go back up here and start trying to hit the tower. I notice that he's actually not backing, so I go to fight him again. I pop his Hex Drinker here. Wait, where is it? Yeah, there it is. I pop his Hex Drinker, and then Hai realizes that I'm getting this Jace really low. So right here, I'm just not going near him because if I go near him, he's gonna recall. But I put the W on him just in case he like tries to run away, and then Hai runs over and just snipes him really quickly. So after that happens, the lane is in my favor again, and I end up pushing that wave. And my goal right now is to take this turret. I realize, hey, there's 14, 10, 9, 8, whatever seconds until Jace is respawned, and he has another 4.5 seconds on his teleport channel. So, or no, is it 4 seconds? I think it's 4 seconds actually, but yeah. So that's a lot of time, and it would theoretically give me enough time to push this turret. But he ends up teleporting mid to get the kill on high. So immediately I know that I can just take this tower. So I end up taking the tower, and then after this, after he kills High, he starts running up the river to try and go for me. I was watching the map the entire time, so I realized that I probably wouldn't be able to just run through here because he'd dive me. So I run back here, pop my ult, and try to start regenerating HP. Unfortunately, he scats me with the EQ. I put the W down just to try and fling him into it. Realize I don't have any mana, so I just say, fuck it. I'm gonna just tank you out and run past you. He hits the Q, then he just goes for a straight up tower dive. In a situation like this, when you're against the wall and he wants to skill shot you, he's not going to aim down. He's going to aim right at the wall because he thinks you have nowhere to run. So with your ult movement speed, you can actually juke downwards because 9 times out of 10 they will shoot at the wall because they think that you have no way to juke upwards. They never expect you to juke downwards in a situation like that. But yeah, we actually ended up winning this game. I had something like stupid, like 11 assists. My first item was a Rylai's because they don't have a whole lot of kite potential, and I just honestly started with one of the damage because there's like a lot of squishy characters in the team. Like they don't have a single tank. After Nidalee jumps in, she has no escape. Kate has only 1 escape. Ori and Jace both have no escape, so the Rylai's first item was going to end up being good, which it was. We ended up winning. I went like 1-1-11, so it wasn't like a hard carry game at all, which is why I'm not going to show the whole game. But it ended up working out, and then so yeah, that's hopefully that kind of illustrates how you can still play the lane like patiently and carefully in a really just nightmare scenario. You don't have to give up kills in lanes like this. You don't have to give up kills in games like this. You can turn it around and make it work. You just need to like coordinate with your jungler and make sure that he knows that he probably has to help you a little bit. And whenever you have like that level of communication like down, it's in solo queue it's kind of hard. You might have to like type to him. You have to just ping for help. Don't ever like say anything bad though, because then they might get salty and just not gank. I know in lower elos like junglers get really salty, and sometimes they're like, oh well, I'm not gonna gank for you. Because yeah, I used to be like in low elo too, and I know what those types of junglers are like. But just be calm, ping for help once or twice. Let them know in chat, hey man, can I get some help? This guy's gonna shit on me. My proxy got denied, etc., etc. And yeah, things hopefully should work out. Obviously, it's not gonna work every time, but this is just a general rule set on how I deal with it as Singed, and hopefully it helps you too. So I really appreciate a thumbs up, like, whatever, and a subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks.